On the farthest knuckle of Maine's coast, where the granite ribs of the land show through torn skin of moss and lichen, there stands a lighthouse no chart bothers to name. It leans slightly, as if listening for something beneath the sea. The locals call it Widow's Watch. On clear days, it looks abandoned, white paint peeled down to bone, iron railings red with rust. On foggy nights, the light turns on. No one admits to tending it. Elias Crow first saw the light on a night when the ocean had gone strangely quiet. He was hauling lobster traps back toward shore. The fog so thick it felt like wool stuffed in his ears. The bell buoy had stopped ringing. Even the gulls were silent, as though they'd been swallowed whole by the mist. Then the beam cut through, slow, deliberate, circling the water like a searching eye. Elias knew the charts. Widow's Watch had been decommissioned 70 years earlier after a keeper named Thomas Hale vanished during a storm. They found the door locked from the inside. Blood was found in the stairwell. They never found Hale. Elias turned his boat away, heart hammering, but the light followed him. It was not sweeping the horizon, it was tracking him. He felt it slide over his back like cold fingers. That night, he dreamed of stairs. A spiral staircase rose endlessly through damp stone. Each step was slick, smelling of salt and rot. Above him, a lantern hissed and popped. Below, something breathed, slow, wet, patient. When he woke, his boots were crusted with salt. The next evening, the fog came again. Elias stayed home, bolting his door. Drinking until his hands shook less. At midnight, a sound crept through the walls. The rhythmic grind of gears. The turning of a great lens. The lighthouse was working. He found wet footprints on his floorboards in the morning. Bare. Leading nowhere. Elias went to the Historical Society, where the oldest records lived in cardboard boxes. The woman at the desk spoke in whispers, as if afraid of being overheard by the past. He read Thomas Hale's logbooks until the light outside dimmed. The last entries were erratic. The sea is wrong tonight. The light doesn't obey me anymore. Something comes up with the tide. It knows my name. The final page was smeared, as though a wet hand had dragged across the ink. That night, Elias rode out. The fog parted for him like a held breath. Widow's Watch loomed. Taller than it should have been, its door yawning open. The beam froze as he approached. Fixed on the narrow channel between rocks. A warning or an invitation. Inside, the air was warm and damp. The stairs spiraled upward, just like his dream. He climbed. Each step echoing with another step just behind him. When he stopped, it stopped. When he hurried, it hurried. At the lantern room, the light burned with a sickly yellow glow. The lens was cracked. Inside the glass, something moved. A man stood beside the mechanism, his back turned. His coat was soaked through, dripping onto the floor in a steady rhythm. When he spoke, his voice was layered, as if another throat echoed beneath it. "You're late," he said. Elias tried to speak. Salt filled his mouth. The man turned. Thomas Hale's face sagged like a drowned thing. Eyes filmed white. Mouth stretched too wide. Barnacles crusted his jaw. Seaweed threaded his hair. "The light must be kept," Hale said. "It feeds. It calls. Someone must turn it, or it turns itself." The beam brightened, and Elias saw shapes moving far below the waves. Too many limbs. Too many mouths. All drawn toward the shore. "I tried to leave," Hale whispered. "It wouldn't let me." Hands, cold, swollen, not all of them human, rose from the stairs. They gripped Elias's ankles, his knees, his waist. He screamed, and the sound was swallowed by the turning gears. When the fog lifted in the morning, Elias's boat was found drifting, empty. The lighthouse stood quiet, paint flaking in the sun. But on foggy nights, the light still turns. And if you stand on the rocks and listen closely, you can hear footsteps on the stairs. And a voice calling your name. Grateful that you've come to take a shift.